Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is, 20 of 8 in the morning. Me and Carol just got everything in the house done. And she said, you've got until 9 o'clock. So let's see what we can get done before 9 o'clock. First thing we'll do, I guess, is put the connecting rod into the piston with the wrist pin and get that installed. We'll see how long that takes. I got to clean the piston a little bit. And then we just get the fuel system to hook up and put the governor in. But we can't put the governor in until the piston is in. Because they've designed this with a nice lead in. And if you put the governor weights in, they're in the way. So anyway, we'll leave it right there and we'll see if we can get the piston together. Okay, I wasn't going to show any of this, but I happened to get thinking there, just to save somebody some aggravation. The pins are always up towards the top on these. So they're basically driven right straight in. So you want to make sure that that notch is on the top. If you flip them on the wrong way, you can't get them around the pin. So you have to have the pocket for the pin on the top. And you just kind of roll them on. Slide them down. Just like that. And then, of course, when you go to put it on, you got to roll it around so that that pin will sit there and line up your ring. So anyway, that's it for that. I wasn't going to really even bother showing it to you, but thought it might save somebody some aggravation. So I'm going to go get the wrist pin. Well, actually the wrist pin's right here, but I want to do some miking on that. There's 4 thousandths wear on this. It's 1 1/8 inch, and it's harder than the hinges of hell. I tried it already. The file won't even touch it. So it's basically tool steel that's been hardened. I might actually see if I can go into MSC and get a piece of 1 1/8 inch tool steel that's all pre-hardened. And all I got to do is make a carbide, take a carbide tool, make a little indent right there from a set screw, and it would be all done, you know. Cut it off with a whiz wheel and away you go. So anyway, yeah, pretty much it. Tap it in with a hammer here once I get the rod onto it. Maybe it might go in the other way better, who knows. No, that way it won't even go in. So this may, I know I had to tap it out. We'll probably have to tap it in. Anyway, I gotta do some measuring. Okay, let's see. Interesting thing, this is a piece of cast iron, not bronze. So, that one there is 37. Down there's 41. I'm up the bore a little further on this side. So basically, 41 I'm getting. Was that what I just said? And we'll call it 40. So there's 15 thousandths. Well, it should have about 1 thousandths and a half. So we'll call it 14 thousandths. This is one. And the wrist pin's 1/4 thousandths. So we're 19 thousandths clearance right here on one side. The other side, I don't know if it's the same or not. You never know on these. But we'll see here what this side goes to. Now, this side's not 1 so much. That tells me it's rocking. This one's at 30. So yeah, one side's got 9, basically, and one side's got 19. So anyway, I'm going to finish just washing up the big end of the rod, and I'm going to assemble it. We're going to see if it'll run. I know it's going to knock, but we'll put the oil to it. It's not like the wrist pin's going to break. I mean, that thing's solid, and the damage is already done to this, so you can't worry about hurting that bushing. I just got to buy some of that I can't remember, Durabar maybe or something. Anyway, they got tight grain cast iron that you can buy, and we'll just buy a piece that's big enough I might as well see how big that is. Yeah, let's see, maybe we'll go that way, get a better, yeah, right there. 1.5 inches. Okay, let's see if we can get this wrist pin in. Boy, I think he's tight. Oop, there we go. Pull it back out. Got a ways to go. I guess I better get a bolt or something. Okay, piece of bronze shafting. I'm gonna lay it down, I guess. Might make it easier. Now we'll just put our lock bolt in. Yeah, there's a lot of rock in that old girl, but we're gonna run it. Let's see now, let's make sure the jam nut's not hitting, and it's not. Okay. Now we'll run the jam nut down. I don't know if that's 11 or 5/8. Say it's 11. I'll reach in there once this is in the engine and snug that down a little tighter. That way it'll be held. I'll put a little bit of oil on that wrist pin since I didn't when I assembled it. There's enough slop in that old girl, I ain't too worried about it either way. Yeah, it's a lot of tip. But anyway, like I say, it'll run. So, let's see if that old girl will go in the engine. Before I put this in, a little information on these pins. So they go right through. You can drive them out. A lot of people, and I've done it in the past, you drive them out and the engine will not run. Because what you do is you want to run a regular ring that's got a regular split, and you don't want to have to notch it out for this. That's fine. But you can't drive that pin all the way out. You drive it back till it's flush so it don't interfere with the ring, or you can file it down, but you might end up frigging up the ring groove if you do that. Usually just drive them out, or drive them in flush, I should say. Now, the way a ring works, it's something a lot of people don't realize. Of course, these here have more than 1/1000 thousandths. They got probably 10 thousandths, you know, top and bottom. This one here is more right. Bottom one's got a lot. Of course, I've swapped these rings all around, so who knows what's where anymore. It don't matter. You know, this thing runs 400 RPM, it's good enough. But the way they work is when it goes up in compression, that ring is on the back side like this, because of the friction. And the compression gas goes in through this crack on the top. Usually it's only 1/1000ths to 2/1000ths, let's say, on a normal engine. But what gases are exposed to the front, they run around the ring and force on the back side of the ring because they can't come out anywhere. And it actually increases ring tension. And, you know, it's one of those things, a lot of people don't realize that. So there's so much gas that goes in behind, especially on an engine that's got a little bit of wear like this. If you take that pin out, you basically got an 1/8 hole in your piston, right in the top. It'll act just the same, just like having your compression release open. You may get it running, but it'll never have any power, and it'll always chuff out through by the wrist pin. And if it does, you got to rethink what you've done and drive some pins in. The reason I know this is that 6-horse wet had those pins in it. I bought a set of rings for it because they were, well, there was a water line rusted right in that cylinder. That engine wasn't in very good shape. I put new rings in it. I was young. Oh, I think I was, when I traded for that, I'm going to say I was 16 or 17. I just got my license. And I traded a John Deere B for that. And it was probably the screw-in of a lifetime, but whatever. That's water over the dam, right? But anyway, I traded for it. I didn't realize how rings actually worked. And I drove them pins all out. Put the rings on, put that engine together. That engine would not start. So I hooked it up to a John Deere, no it wasn't, it was a Super C upstairs. That was because I had traded the B for it. I hooked it up to the Super C on a belt pulley, and it would run. Once it was up to speed, it would run because it didn't have time enough for the stuff to go out. And I got the rings kind of broke in after an hour or so of running, and it would start. And I'm sitting there one day, and my father says, Jesus, boy, he says, you're losing a lot of compression around that wrist pin. And I'm like, how the hell can that be? And I pulled it out and looked it all over. And I says to my father, you suppose that's coming out through them holes? He says, I don't know. He says, could be. So I believe it was a 16-penny spike was the same size. I'm almost positive it was. And anyway, I cut some little slugs and just drove them in flush. She runs like a top, don't leak a bit. It smartened it right up. And yeah, I've been using it ever since on that same set of rings. And that was when I was, I'm gonna call it 16 years old. And I'm 63 now. So they've been in there for a while and they're still doing good. So anyway, yeah, those pins need to be in there. So let's see if we can get this piston in. Okay, gotta make sure that bottom pin is right. Where's the pin? Right there. Okay, there's one. Just kind of rocking around. Where's the next pin at? It's over on the other side. There we go. These engines with this lead in, they're the balls, I'll tell you. I like it. Got a little bit of squeeze. I don't know if we got a lot, but. So let me get the connecting rod bearings cleaned up and we'll make this dandy so it'll have some compression. I want to show you this old bent up shim pack. We're going to put her in just the same. A bunch of gump there that somebody had. Put a little bit of oil on this bearing. Got one prick punch, so you know which way it goes. Whoop. Of course, that would slide right out of there. Beautiful. Ooh. Okay, I'll go get the proper socket and I'll be back. Make sure the bottom's lined up, yep. Oh. Good, still got plenty of clearance. We'll tighten it up a little more. All right, that's tight. Well, I'd say the intake is stuck. I gotta put a little oil on it. I'll be back. I just put the oil on off camera. I'm gonna take this and this off, you know, the coupler and that one little nipple. Set this down here where it belongs and it won't look so stupid. I could have used an inch shorter nipple, but that's what I had. So anyway, we're gonna get this set down where it belongs so it's not quite so stupid looking. And yeah, we'll put a little bit of a slow drip onto it while we turn it over. And yeah, it with a rough cylinder and used rings, it's not a lot of compression. I can hear it leaking right out by the rings. But I think if we get it running, I think it'll settle in. We'll see. But I wanted to show you something. Weather forecast this morning. Nice and sunny till after lunch. And then a chance of showers. That's Carol calling. Hang on. Anyway, I'm back. Look at this nonsense. It's supposed to be a sunny day until noontime or so. Little scud going through. Probably be sunny here in a half hour. But anyway, that's the way things are in the wintertime. So Carol just called. We're gonna leave the dogs in the house here today because it's snowing and crap. So I gotta go on out and help her. I did not get the fuel tank hooked up. I actually think I'm gonna see if I got a big enough V-belt, because this needs to kind of be run to get a little bit of compression worked into it. I think I'm gonna get a big V-belt and go around and plug it in. If I can get this thing rolling over with a good drip onto it, we'll see here if we can't get stuff tightened up. Anyway, I get doing that, I'll get the camera out. Well, it's not running. This is kind of fake here. I got it running off an electric motor over back. I got the exhaust. The governor actually is tied, locked open, so that there's no compression. And I've got the oiler dripping about every 6 or 8 seconds. Got all the grease cups filled. Everything's been lubricated on the whole machine. And I'm just trying to see if that cylinder is gonna kind of set in a little bit. You can hear the wrist pin knock a little bit. That's really loose, that wrist pin. But like I say, I gotta order some material and we'll go from there with it. But I should have put it the other way. I didn't check the rotation of that. It's actually turning backwards, but it doesn't make any difference. Not for what we're doing. Of course, when I go to start it, it would have been nice just to have it on and then kick the belt off, which I may rotate it around the other way when I get ready to do it. But I'm bringing it back in a little while, see if we can get any compression out of the old girl. Yeah, I'll reverse the motor, have it going the right way now. And it seems to be doing everything it's supposed to. Basically, I've got it right now so that the governor thinks that it's up to speed. We slide that off. It's got vacuum. So, yeah, try to do something like this one-handed. So anyway, should have spark. We've got oil going. Everything's been lubricated up. I do not have the gas tank hooked up, but I'm going to squirt a little gas in this and see if there's any action. So let's see what happens with the old girl.
Yeah, I believe it would go if it weren't hooked up to that motor. Yeah. Let's unhook the motor on it. Hey, I just gave it a shot of fuel there off camera. We'll make the timing a little bit late. Huh. Maybe need a little more gas. I don't know if it's quite enough squeeze in that old girl. Well, I'm pretty disappointed. I had this thing running for 3-4 minutes, and I had hit the thing, and amongst all the commotion, I didn't hit it enough, and I didn't record it. It runs. Matter of fact, I'm going to start it again, just so that you can see it run. But I couldn't believe it, that damn camera didn't catch it. Been running it here by hand without a fuel tank. I don't even know where the gas bottle is, but I got a bottle right here full of gas. I got to put a little more in it. But I burned almost 1/4 of a bottle there, 1/3 of a bottle of gasoline through it. And it runs good, but there's not enough compression with the rings. Those rings, I guess, are junk. That's probably why the guy that I bought it off had an electric motor behind it, because I think he had the same problem. So anyway, I'm going to get it hooked up. I'll try to get another. It's not the first start though. I'm not going to lie to you about it. The damn thing was running for, well, probably 4 to 5 minutes. And everything works good except for the compression. So I'm going to order a set of rings. We'll put a set of rings into it. Probably I'll get a new wrist pin at the same time, because once I pull it out, might as well take care of that problem. And yeah, I think that'll about make it on this. But for right now, let's see here if I can capture a little bit of it running. Okay, I got this thing hooked up in the right direction. I got a board so I can kick the motor over so it'll throw the belt. Right now I got the compression held off by the governor. So let's put a little gas into it. Put the choke up a little ways. Oil is already on. Let's see what happens. You are recording, yes you are. So, see what happens. off. You can hear everything blowing back by the piston. When it's right up to speed, don't have time to chuff, you know, it drives the power back and it goes, but to get it started, I don't think you could ever get it started without spinning it with something else. So I got to order a set of rings. While I'm changing the rings, I'm going to get a set of, well, a piece of that, what is it, Durabond, or Durabar, I guess it is, cast iron, that fine grain cast iron. I'll get a piece of that. I'll make a new wrist pin bushing. I'll get a piece of 1 1/8" high-speed steel for the wrist pin, and that should tighten this whole thing up. I think the cylinder's going to be all right. I'm going to take a gamble on that. I do have a sleeve. We can go that route later if we have to. But for right now, I'm just going to see if a set of rings, wrist pin and wrist pin bushings doesn't fix everything that ails it. So anyway, that's going to be it for the build right now. I didn't hook up the gas tank today just because I didn't know if I was going to have to take anything apart. But anyway, it run good. It's just barely warm. That's one thing. These things pull so much cold air in and out of them when they're up to speed, and then it fires one time. It really never gets hot if you're not working them. They will eventually. I wouldn't want to run it all day with no water in it, but this little bit here don't seem to hurt. So anyway, that's going to be it. It runs. Got a little more work to do, but as far as the rebuild part, till I get some supplies in, this is going to be it, guys. So don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. And yeah, keep safe, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.